Guitars have cool names. Builders have cool names. There's always a cool name, a cool guitar. But I may have found one of the coolest. A guy named George Crackett. Krakat. Because you know what? Then you can say, without reprisal, release the Crackett.
Guitar Stuff with John.
Welcome to another Guitar Stuff with John. Sorry, I had a Muppet moment there. Some of you may know that recently I did a huge tour. Me and Dave Gunning went out. I did a bunch of my own dates at the beginning. 32 shows in 61 days from here to the West Coast and back, all the way to Victoria, all the way back. I spent the first couple, 2-3 weeks in the States on my own. And as I am wont to do, I was looking at music through music stores. I ended up in this little shop outside of Schenectady, New York, where I was staying at an Airbnb. And I happened to walk in there, and I looked up. There was a ton of guitars in this shop. And I happened to look up, there was a string of them hung up, and there was a builder name I didn't recognize. Crackett, Krakat. And these guitars varied wildly. There was sort of a slope-shouldered dreadnought with a slotted headstock and all kinds of beautiful inlay. There was OMs, there was regular dreadnought, there was all sorts of things. But there was one that I looked at and I said, I gotta try that thing. And I picked this guitar up off that hook, sat down, and played it. It's already ringing. Good Lord. It won't stop. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And I couldn't believe this thing. I picked it up and I was looking at it. I was like, who is this guy? Who is Crackett? And I went to the counter and they told me, well, this is George Crackett. He lives just not far from here. And we're his the only store he deals with. He puts his guitars in here from time to time. And so I immediately went online and found his phone number and called him and found out that he was a man in his late 60s, retired. He's built around 70 guitars in his lifetime, and he builds 3 or 4 a year, 5, maybe 6 a year, and it's the love of his life. He's also a performer. He's a good guitar player. He gigs regularly. And I said, man, I just played one of your guitars and it floored me. And so the next day, he came to the store and met me. I bought this guitar. He is just one of the nicest men I've met out on the road, and obviously one of the best guitar builders. And this is a great example, and the things that I love to show on this channel. You just never know where you're going to find a tremendous single bench builder. The only drawback of these guys is that their output is so low. But let me tell you something. If you're able to get your hands on a Crackett or any other builder that only produces, under a dozen guitars a year, you're really buying something special. And this guitar is not overly priced at all. It's about $2,200 American, which blew my mind. I was like, what? How can that be? But yes, it is. And it's basically an OM, it's an OM body or triple O. I'm not sure what they call these anymore. But it's patterned after a Martin, and he's a huge Martin fan. It's a herringbone, Sunburst, rosewood back and sides, everything built to spec. There's his cool little, I love his name, Crackett. Release the Crackett. And so meeting him and playing his guitars, I was just like, wow. Like, I knew guys like this were out there. Obviously they are. But how often do you stumble into one just completely by accident and then end up being able to own one of his guitars? So I feel pretty blessed to have it and to know him and to tell you guys about him. So you've heard the guitar. It's absolutely supernatural. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's just awesome. It does my heart good to see another builder building guitars like Boucher, Gallagher, Hosen. There's so many builders now that are achieving almost going back in time, right, to when companies like Martin could actually build guitars like this ad nauseum. Every guitar that came out of their shop sounded like this one. This is, in my opinion, is what a Martin should really sound like, right? That's what, you can't get around it. It's designed after one, and he just killed it. He just killed it. So I want to take a close look at this thing for you, and I'll tell you all about Mr. George Crackett, who, in my opinion, is one of the finest single bench builders that I've run across in many, many years. So let's take a look at his OM/triple O Sunburst herringbone right here, right now. So here is the triple O Sunburst herringbone, built by my friend George Crackett. Release the Crackett. I love that. I just can't stop saying it. Anyhow, you're looking at a guitar that is basically one of the nicest Martins you've ever seen. It's built sort of, I'm sure there's differences in what he's doing, obviously, because it doesn't sound like a Martin, but it definitely feels like a vintage Martin. That's really what it feels like. It's got a tremendously beautiful neck, ebony, snowflakes. His inlay work is really nice. He makes beautiful inlays. Come down to the body. You've got this beautiful, probably an Adirondack spruce top, and his finish. His guitars are all hand finished, multiple coats of hand finish. You know, a rag finish, literally. Beautiful herringbone trim. Just gorgeous. Tortoiseshell pickguard. There's our sticker. The model 000. Crackett guitar, proudly made in the USA, Albany, New York. And we have the ebony bridge, bone saddle. I think I replaced the pegs because they were wooden. I might have chewed them up a bit. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Maybe this is his. But those are Martin pegs. The new composite pegs. They're nice. Simple rosette. Standard kind of Martin-esque rosette. You can see all the dust on it. I've been playing the crap out of it. That's the remnants of my picks. And then around the back, the same idea. You've got this beautiful rose, just great rosewood. That standard strip down the middle, that sort of a double herringbone deal. And you can see our binding seam here. Everything is done completely by hand on these guitars. The faux mammoth heel cap. Beautiful mahogany neck with the volute. And the nice Wilkinsons, these are. And then his Crackett stamp there, which is really cool. And yeah, this thing is deadly, man. Just deadly. And it even came with a K&K pickup in it. That's what he likes to use. Look at the grain in that wood. Oh. Like, this is a prime piece of rosewood, I'm telling you right now. And you can see all the buffing marks, and it's just so handmade. It's so handmade, and the perfection of it. You can see the effort he put in to make this be older than it is. Because it definitely sounds like it's 50 years old already. And there you go. A lovely Sunburst, too, I must say. The semi-amber tobacco Sunburst. Also, all done by him, of course, in his shop. And he's building, 5 or 6 of these a year. So like I say, if you have an opportunity to buy a guitar from this man, you really should. You should get on the list and get one, because he is in his 60s. And God forbid anything happened to him, but I mean, you just never know when he might decide to stop building, or he might have to stop building, or whatever the case may be. So you shouldn't wait. You should reach out to him, at least say hello, because the man is he's super nice, and obviously he is building some killer guitars. This thing is just amazing. I'm probably going to end up, if he has one on the list next year that he will let go, I probably will buy that one as well. I wouldn't mind having 2. I think I'd like to get one of his dreadnoughts, because he does an 18 style and a 28 style, and like I said, he's very good at inlay. He does some very good inlay stuff in his work. You'll see that on his website. And there you go. There is the Crackett 000 Sunburst herringbone in rosewood, Adirondack spruce top, and it is an absolute cannon. What a pleasure to play this guitar. So there you go. There is the 000 Sunburst herringbone from George Crackett in Schenectady, New York. He's just outside of the town, but you can look him up online. He's at georgecrackettguitar.com. I believe, and he's on. If you're watching String Theory, he's a partner on there now. You'll see his website there, but just look for George Crackett Guitars. Krakat. That's how you find him. And he's got a guitar in process right now. He builds. I love the way he builds, because he doesn't build the same guitar every time. He chooses the guitar he's building based upon the tone woods he has at the moment. So you could if you ordered from him, there's no telling what you might get and what he might have available. He does everything. I've seen several of his instruments, and he is not afraid to, go outside the norm. He does beautiful inlay work. They're just incredible guitars. And he himself is a very good musician. He's got several albums out over the years. A great songwriter. He performs regularly, and he's a super, super nice man. Again, I'm not surprised by any of this. The people that I meet that are, that in this business, like Robin Boucher and David Mathis and Hosen and Mr. Crackett, and the guys that work at Gibbs and Epiphone and Recording King, and these people are really nice. They're super tuned to guitar and guitar players, and they're just good people. Close Guitars, James Martin Instruments in Ireland, man, they're just salt of the earth. And I see them coming, at a live show. They'll show up and to see me, and it's a real treat to know these guys and to be able to experience their artistic vision firsthand. Every time I pick up a guitar, I'm sitting with George. I pick up a Boucher, I'm sitting with Robin. I pick up a Gallagher, I'm sitting with David Mathis and the crew in Murfreesboro. You know what I mean? Like you're being invited into the builder's world every time you play their instrument, and it's just amazing. Thanks, George, for building such a great guitar. And, buddy, if you want a sure enough dandy, better call him. He doesn't build very much, so get in line. You definitely want one of these. I'm telling you for sure, you want one of these. Okay, boys and girls, thanks a lot. Thanks to George. Thanks to all my building friends. You're keeping us going, man. All of you. You're all keeping us alive with music and practice and fun and fellowship and family. It's a huge circle, and you guys are the reason that it belongs and remains unbroken. Okay, we'll love you guys. We'll see you soon.